And I'd like to start off by presenting the informational update that our Common Director from SLU, Jerry Katz, provided me. And in essence, this is what his new fellows are doing. Dan Brewer is putting together a new course for the food and product development and marketing for the undergraduate in the nutrition program. Sanjay is working with Michael, and they are building modules for aerospace and mechanical engineering courses that they are teaching. And Rebecca is putting together a module as part of the leadership in healthcare, which is a doctoral level policies course. And the veteran fellows are working on these following initiatives. Ravi is putting together a module. They already have a lab course that they modified last year, and they're adding to the flight simulator vehicles course that could evolve into some self-employment entrepreneurial opportunities. And Ray is working with the aerospace mechanical engineering program at Parks College, and he's putting together a module. And Shri manages a very cool lab called the Tinker Lab, and he actually has a 3D printer where he can have students design something and they actually can make it and see the working parts, moving parts, and maybe take it to market. So that's sort of the activities update that Jerry wanted me to share with the community and the foundation. And we'll hold off on the questions till we are, I guess, done with all the other updates. So I don't have any particular sequence. So I'm going to randomly pick a school. And if Beloit College, Warren, would you be able to provide your update, please? Warren, can you hear us?
Can you hear me, Joe?
Yes, we can hear you, Warren. Please go ahead.
Okay. Well, so the update is that I and the 3 new Coleman Fellows have developed a new course for next semester called the Social, Environmental, and Scientific Entrepreneur Workshop. And we are going to team teach this course, and we will organize the students into teams within the course who will then work on specific projects that we consider minimum viable projects, where they actually have products that they can realistically think about developing into a launchable product. And we had directed the registrar to cap the course at 15. There was a miscommunication, and the cap for online enrollment was set at 20. It hit the 20, and then we got about a half a dozen additional students who begged to be on the waiting list. So the campus response to this new course was very enthusiastic. And all of the new fellows are really just terrific. The status of one of them, Rama Viswanathan, I got to get an update because his son has a startup in Silicon Valley and is trying to get father to come out and work on that. So he's going to possibly be telecommuting in to teach his portion of the course. And then my life and financial planning workshop, which is has the largest enrollment on campus. I'll be teaching that again next semester. I have 40 students signed up, which for a small college is quite a few. And there's a segment in that course that we do on entrepreneurship. And then the other professors, Rangel Nikora and Ted Grease, are also incorporating more entrepreneurship into their classes as well. So we've got a lot of exciting activity going on for the coming semester.
It's great. Thank you, Warren. And you can help all these activities get posted to the site. That would be great.
Yes, we'll be sure to get them posted by the end of January.
Okay, great. Thank you. Cal Poly, John.
Okay, we have 3 new fellows. Lorraine Donegan is in graphic communications, and she's doing 2 things. One, for her course, she's just bringing in entrepreneurship modules, largely through some guest speakers and taking some of the material from some other courses that we've had. And the second thing she's doing is putting on a user interface hackathon to go across the whole campus and to get everyone sort of interested in the whole idea of UI, UX. Lynn Metcalf is the second Coleman Fellow. She's a professor of marketing, and in some ways, a lot of her material has already been entrepreneurship-oriented, and she's supplementing that in the courses in her syllabus for the next quarter. But the other thing she's doing is spearheading a campus-wide effort to look at, initially it was the involvement of female students in entrepreneurial activities in terms of how we talk about entrepreneurship, how we present it, et cetera. And now it's sort of expanded a little bit and looking at all different majors and across the 6 different colleges. And she's doing surveys and focus groups and bringing students in for that. So that's 2. The third Coleman Fellow is Mary Glick, who's the chair of the journalism department and a professor in journalism. And she's bringing entrepreneurship into her existing course. Nobody's creating a new course. It takes quite some time to create a new course at Cal Poly, just given the way things work. But she's bringing it into her existing course. And the second thing she's doing is there is a senior project course called Mustang Media, which basically is the coming together of journalism in the print, television, social media, et cetera, and it's actually a student-run business, and she's bringing all kinds of the business model canvas and lean launch principles into trying to get that off the ground. So that's what the fellows are doing, and the additions to their syllabi will be posted before January 31st.
Great. Thank you, John. Wonderful. Anybody from Cal State, Fresno? Okay. Colorado Mesa? Okay. Corey, would you be...
Joe, can you hear me? This is Georgianne from Colorado Mesa.
Oh, you are there. Okay. So sorry, Georgianne.
I am here.
Go ahead.
I can't get the video going, but I am here. What we're doing at Colorado Mesa, we've got, I think, 7 fellows, and the 3 new ones are, we've kind of got 2 different aspects going. We have theater, music, art, and then we have engineering and manufacturing. So we kind of separated things into the proof, the performance, and the process, and we're working on getting those diverse groups working together, and it's been really fun. We've done some outside things. We did an idea challenge, and we had theater students and engineering students and mass comm, and they came up with ideas and tried to figure out ways to get the ideas developed, and it was really cool seeing the different disciplines working together. So we've done a lot. We have elevator pitches that we get different disciplines working together. We have a sustainability group that we get engineering and business and some of the environmental science groups working together. So we've done a lot of the interdisciplinary. In terms of classes this semester, we're going to try to infuse that into the classes, that proof performance process. So we have, in terms of proof, we have the manufacturing technology working with small business consulting and the entrepreneurship class. So one's looking at the feasibility of a project. One has we have a new composting facility where they compost the biodegradable things from our cafeteria, and so the manufacturing technology is doing a heat sensor in their class, in their capstone class. We've written the business plan for what's going to happen with the compost that comes out of that, and then Small Business Consulting did the feasibility originally for that. In terms of performance, theater students are going to be in their improv for one of the classes for culinary, where they're going to, it's kind of like Restaurant Express, and they go in and be evil customers and type things and see how the culinary people react to that. So that's going to be a fun combination, and that'll be done in their capstone classes for both disciplines. And then in terms of the process, engineering students have a capstone project that they come up with, and my entrepreneurship students will be pairing with them and writing business plans for those process, and then manufacturing tech will try to do some of the implementation piece of it. And then we also started a new business called The Point, where all good things come together, and it's a student-run coffee shop, pub, and restaurant. And we've had music theater people come over and do performances there, and we're doing a January term class where we have music students, math comm students, business students, that come together, and they're going to figure out how to market this whole idea. I mean, it's a functioning business, but they're going to do some of the marketing things. So we're trying to get as much implementation in terms of interdisciplinary, and then, as John said, it's really difficult to get the courses, a new course. We are working on an interdisciplinary new course, but that's probably a year out, but everybody has had this in all their syllabi, all the different disciplines, and doing the interdisciplinary projects. So this has been a really good year for getting that going.
Great. Wow. And all these activities may not fit just in a syllabus reporting format, so please feel free to have your fellows post them as reports.
Okay, that'd be great. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Georgianne. Corey from McPherson?
Yes, we have 3 new fellows this year. All of them are going to be actually looking at their existing courses that they have to modify those. Amy Martinez is one of our English professors, and she currently teaches Rhetoric 1 and 2, and what she's planning to modify is her Rhetoric 2 course, which is a course here at the college that all freshmen have to take. And the basic mission of that course is to teach research skills. And generally what they like to do is to have some sort of central topic around which to center the teaching of those skills. Generally they employ more of a cultural study within that, but what she's going to do is within her Rhetoric 2 class is to really anchor her teaching in entrepreneurial concepts. So everything that they learn over the course of the semester in research will be based in entrepreneurial, the entrepreneurial concepts. Examples that she gave were things like expert testimony is a vital piece of research skills that they need. So she's planning on having local business owners come in and speak, and then she'll have the students be able to cite those speakers in their research. So really her entire course will be centered around these entrepreneurial concepts. Dustin Wilgers is one of our natural sciences professors. He is planning on modifying environmental science. What he will be doing is adding some modules into that course that specifically focus on entrepreneurship. In addition to that, he is also currently writing a faculty handbook piece that he hopes that all of the natural sciences instructors will use that will help them to infuse and incorporate entrepreneurship into all of their courses. His hope is that it will move out beyond the natural sciences instructors and that other faculty will pick up and use that handbook as well. So that's kind of an exciting sidebar that he has going on in terms of modifying his environmental science course. Our third fellow is Garrett Green, and he teaches automotive restoration. Automotive restoration here at McPherson College, we have the only 4-year automotive restoration degree program in the nation. And their particular discipline really lends itself well to entrepreneurship. A lot of those students go out and start their own automotive restoration businesses, and so what Garrick is planning on doing is infusing entrepreneurship modules into one of his technical courses, and he hasn't decided yet which one of those technical courses it will be. It will be one that he will be teaching in the fall, but any of them really lend themselves well to the entrepreneurial concepts that he's going to be putting in those modules. And again, I'll make sure that all of our fellows have this uploaded to the site by the January 31st date.
Great, Corey. Thank you. Thank you for the update. DePaul University.
Yes, Joe, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
It's Harold Welch. We have 3 new fellows. They're doing, 2 of them are doing modules of entrepreneurship, and 1 is doing a brand new course. Actually, the last one I'd like to talk about, they're developing an entrepreneurship course in the College of Communication. And in the first course, they're going to do concepts and applications. And in the second course, they're going to do implementation of the idea. So they're giving formal course credit for 2 communication courses based on the 1 fellow. The second fellow, Matt Regis, is also a professor of communication, and he's developing self-employment portfolios. Much of the public relations and copywriting that the communication students do are under the umbrella of self-employment. And right now there's no models for them to follow. So the entrepreneurship concepts are going to be the structure that they use to develop these modules. The third professor is Christy Klimas. She's a professor of environmental science, and she will be developing scientific recycling system that will be able to be implemented. So these are all going to be designed and taught in the winter and spring. So I don't have formal syllabi available for you yet, but within a month or so, I would say they will be available, and I'll forward them and share them with the group.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Finlandia.
Good morning. Good to talk to you.
Good morning, Bonnie.
I just have to tell you first that I'm really enjoying these graphics that you put up for us showing the U.S. map and the Christmas lights. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
We have 3 Coleman Fellows on campus, and we actually have 2 more that we meet with regularly who have been in the program. We have biweekly meetings. And the 3 new are Cynthia Cote in art business, Robert Graham in intermediate and senior design problems, and that's graphic design, and Pam Audette in healthcare delivery, and that's in the nursing and medical assistance programs. And all 3 have submitted their syllabi online, and 2 of these are courses that are being modified. Pam actually worked on her course last year and is now starting it, and that was a new, the healthcare delivery was a new program. So in Cynthia's course, her big change after we went to the CEO conference, she had been gearing this towards students that had primarily been in her courses that were art production people in visual art. And the course is now wider than that, and it is involving graphic design and integrated design, art therapy, many other courses or areas that students are thinking of going into. So all of her work this semester and what she's writing into her new course is more is broader than that, and her entrepreneurs that she's bringing in as speakers are in web design and advertising and a lot of other areas. So that was her big change. And then Robert had started modifying his course and was looking at his designers as producers, and he came back and really just flipped it considerably and started thinking more really about the practice of setting up a design studio. So that's what his students are working on, and he is in the middle of that. Pam Audette is the one who had already written the course and is now starting it. That's our new wellness center on campus. It's our second student-run business. And the big changes that I see in her, what she said after coming back from the conference was that she, after going through the Peter Drucker Institute, was that she realized that she needed to concentrate on the core skills that these students need to run this. They have great ideas, but now they're in practice. And just going through the exercise of keeping this open and being ready for the public and having regular hours and the things that they need to do to have a business that's open on campus is what they are concentrating on. And her the challenges that we've been going through have been the ones that we faced with the Fuel Studio the year before when we have students managing and running the business. And they are quickly scrambling to set up their job descriptions and their schedule and their accounting system, et cetera. So we are enjoying going through that process with her. The Fuel Studio is running very well. This is the fourth class that we've had come in there. They have gone through that process and added, I think, 7 new vendors this semester. So that's what we're doing.
Great. Thank you, Bonnie. ISU, Mark or Lori?
Good morning, Joe and everyone.
Good morning.
I know Lori is online, so just jump in, Lori, whenever you want to.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Lori, we can hear you too.
Okay, awesome.
Basically, we're approaching this from 3 different fronts, and the first 2 are the effort to put together an interdisciplinary entrepreneurship outreach across campus. So we're trying to put a minor together. We have a brand new course, IDS 113. Lori, can you remember exactly what that's called?
The entrepreneurial mindset.
And it has a lot to do with the very beginning of thinking entrepreneurially and idea generation and that kind of thing. So it's the very beginnings. And then, of course, for several years, we've already had entrepreneurship in the arts, which we are moving into a new name, Entrepreneurship for Non-Business Majors. Now, that would be the beginning and the end. And our Coleman Fellows are working on the middle right now. It doesn't lend itself well to syllabi, but we're being forced into syllabi because we have to go through the process of applying for the interdisciplinary minor. So I anticipate that we will have syllabi by January 31st, don't you, Lori?
Well, our Coleman Fellows have already been working on that. We provided them with kind of a framework of what the university requires in terms of a template for syllabi and that sort of thing. So they've been plugging into that, certainly what you've asked for, I believe, from Coleman Foundation with regard to a basic synopsis of what the class is, as well as objectives for the course. That we will have for you for sure.
Now, the problem is that we're really going to have to build these syllabi in a way that you incorporate them into an existing course. So you buy into this. Let's say you're in the College of Fine Arts and you decide you want to be a part of this interdisciplinary minor. You buy into this whole process, and then you have to incorporate that in to your style of teaching. And that also means, though, that we're going to have to recruit these fellows to teach that. And we expect the gateway to that at first to be the ISU Coleman Fellows that come in, but I think it's going to fast outpace that. The demand for IDS 113 was very large. We taught it for the first time this past semester. Lori and I did. And Lori, you want to talk a little bit about IDS 113?
Well, IDS 113 was built on this interdisciplinary model that Illinois State already has. IDS 113 is these IDS courses at Illinois State are in the general education population, so students could pick and choose to take that class in fulfillment of one of their gen ed requirements. And of course, this was the first time we taught it. We were thrilled to have about 25 kids in it, and they came from, we had a painter, we had arts technology, we had music folks, we had a couple actors, we had agriculture folks, we had business folks, we had kids from fashion design and so forth. So it was a great mix of human beings with a lot of different interests, and it culminated in them creating what we call an elongated elevator pitch of an idea that when they graduate, this is something that they'd be interested in pursuing. So that was really interesting. In some cases, it was targeted and right on and something that people were really excited about and may be able to happen for them. And in other cases, they were sort of pie-in-the-sky ideas. But it ended up being extremely successful. Just to piggyback a little bit on what Mark had mentioned with regard to this minor, we're in the process of creating 7 additional courses, and we're kind of building that off of the honors program model at Illinois State, where students can choose to earn these credits through an existing course by doing additional work in those courses. I think it's going to be very successful once we can kind of get it off the ground.
Great, thank you, Mark and Lauren.
I have a couple more things right quick. If you have just another second or two.
Go ahead.
Concurrently, we're also putting together a technology entrepreneurship interdisciplinary minor. We're also in the final stages of a proposal to put together a makerspace or a Tinker Lab, you called it earlier. And then finally, we've gotten together funding, and we realized that ISU Coleman Fellows were never meant to completely cover this whole effort, and we have managed to put together $47,000 this year for startups, and those are available to any student across campus. What we're really realizing is money's going to drive this, and if we can hustle up money through our donors and founders, we're going to actually get the attraction and the interest. So those would be the 3 efforts that we're putting forth at ISU right now.
Great, thank you, Mark. Lawrence Tech?
Yeah, hi. We have 3 new Coleman Fellows this year, 2 in the College of Architecture and Design and 1 in the College of Arts and Sciences within computer science. One of our faculty is Anirban Adhaya, and he is actually going to be teaching his Coleman course in next fall, but he's spending now and this spring working on the development. He does an advanced design studio in architecture, and he's looking at bringing together city, nature, and entrepreneurship in an urban wilderness studio, where on the design side, students are exploring the relationship between city and nature. They're actually doing it in downtown Detroit, where there's a lot of interesting combinations of urban landscape but also green space. And he's having them create micro ventures that will allow them to bring an entrepreneurship aspect to what he's doing. So it's really a module as far as entrepreneurship goes. So he's envisioning things like maybe an urban wilderness bike tour or urban bird watching and nature photography within the city. And then Edward Orlowski is working on a graduate studio in architecture and design. He calls it the Activist Architecture and Design Studio that he offers, and he'll do that this spring. And he's bringing in the idea of teaching these graduate architecture students how to do problem recognition and opportunity recognition in their discipline as they search out new ways that they could gain clients should they go on to run their own studios after graduation. So it's going to be really practical and valuable. And then Patrick Nelson in our computer science department is bringing together computational medicine and business. He's been working on a specific algorithm that aids in the diagnosis and treatment, ultimately, of diabetes specifically. So he's working on creating a module that will allow students to explore the business side of computational medicine, which is itself an emerging field. So all of our fellows are really excited about the work that they're doing. Two of them, Patrick and Edward, will be implementing in the spring, but even Anirban will be posting his syllabus to the Coleman site, and they'll all do it before the January deadline.
Great, Karen. Thank you very much. Lawrence University?
Yes, hi. Can you hear us?
Yes, Gary, go ahead.
This is Adam, and...
I'm sorry, Adam. Go ahead, Adam.
That's okay. Gary Vaughn and I are co-directors of the program here. We have two returning fellows, Tim Troy and Rob Nielsen, and one new fellow, Tony Conrad. Tony and Rob are incorporating entrepreneurship modules into studio art courses, and Tim Troy has collaborated with Gary and myself to create a new course. We've actually already run the course. It was a 2-week intense immersion experience over winter break. We are in winter break. Our term ended at Thanksgiving, so this course took place over approximately the 2 weeks after Thanksgiving. The immersion experience simulated the startup of a theater company. We had about 22 students who actually started a theater company that's part of Lawrence University now, and also put on 4 performances at the end of that 2-week period. So within these 2 weeks, the students wrote 10-minute plays, selected ones to be performed, rehearsed them, cast them, of course, and performed them. But in addition, they also created a plan for the theater company. They created and implemented a flash marketing strategy. They did an outreach in Door County where the course took place, and went out into the community and figured out who their audience was going to be and how they can reach them. They did a very extensive online marketing, flash marketing campaign. Okay, which included Twitter and Facebook and YouTube videos and blogs and the website. The company is called Greyfell Theater Company, Greyfell, and if you go to greyfell.org, you can find them, and you can see the whole process of how they implemented this project.
If I just can add briefly, what they did was they also wrote a mission statement, wrote a description for the business, did the financials for the organization, and the things that you would see on just creating a startup venture. The 2-week process really helped give them a little sense of urgency also. They had to step out and talk to printers, talk to newspaper articles that the writers had interviewed them. They did some interviews for radio, and I think the opportunity for these students to step out and do these things under our guidance, but for the most part they did everything, gives them an opportunity to actually have that experiential learning that happens and basically what we did was a 2-week lab, and really from December 2nd through December 15th, that was, they had 13 days. They stayed on the northern campus the whole time. Adam, myself, and Tim lived with them for 2 weeks. Started at 8 in the morning, ended at 9 at night, just like you would if you were an entrepreneur starting an organization. And I mean, some of the students came back with comments like it was life-changing for them to understand how they could create, how a theater really runs, because if that's the career path that they're choosing, they're looking at this as being very valuable information.
I'd like to add too that while we had a number of theater students, not all students were theater majors. We had about a fourth of the students who were not theater students, and they collaborated very closely with each other. Everybody was involved in the business aspect of the venture. Nobody was allowed to just focus on the directing the plays or acting or rehearsing or stage managing. Everybody had to do everything just like you would in a startup.
Great, thank you, gentlemen. Milliken, Sharon.
Joe, could
Yes.
I ask Gary a question?
Yes, go ahead.
Or before we go, Gary, on that, or Adam, on that module that you did, then do you do anything further in the semester with it, or that builds on it? Because I know you've shared with me some cool stuff that you're doing. I was just wondering what was happening with that module.
Sure, this is Gary. And what's going to happen is the students, actually they wrote 18 plays. They self-selected 4 of them, which are, from my opinion, pretty darn good. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to take and have the students perform those plays on campus the first weekend that we're back.
Okay.
And that Grayfell Theater now, one of the things that these students have the opportunity to understand is they're founders now, right? So they've got a little bit of a pristine there. But this Grayfell is going to continue on. So we're going to be using it throughout the university and throughout some of our entrepreneurship programs to use it as a model. We're also, and you're familiar with the Rabbit Gallery. We're going to try to collaborate with the Rabbit Gallery and work the Rabbit Gallery and the Grayfell Theater together.
I'm getting a signal from Joe that I need to move on. So
yes,
thank you, Gary. Maybe we'll talk offline and maybe can find. I think there's some opportunities to do some sharing.
More than happy to do that. Thanks, Sharon.
We have 3 new fellows. R.J. Podesky, who's in information systems, Ed Walker, who graphic design, and Joe Carter, who's in nursing. And I'm going to let Andy tell you what each one of those projects that they're doing is. They are working on their syllabi now. All of them are enhancing an existing course. And then I'll just give you a little bit of an update of where we are with our student ventures. And I'm launching a new course in the spring with a state archivist, a retired state archivist, on innovation and entrepreneurship in America, and I'm real excited about it. And it's going to be all on the general ed side, so we'll have an opportunity to use a historical perspective on entrepreneurship, its impact on the economy. And the text that I'm using is Drucker's Innovation and Entrepreneurship, along with Harold Evans' They Made America. So we're kind of excited about that. Andy, you want to tell them what our fellows are doing?
Sure. So our first new fellow, R.J. Podesky, is in information systems. He is adapting a current course in information systems. It's a topics course, so it changes frequently with whatever the need is. He'll be incorporating the use of Raspberry Pi miniature computers. The students will go out and identify an opportunity and then create a piece of technology that capitalizes on that opportunity, has some sort of commercial viability and commercial value. Ed Walker is our graphic design. He is adapting his senior course in graphic design, which has traditionally been called Design Studio, and he's now expanding that with more of an outward focus on the community, helping students find clients, find businesses that have graphic design needs, and creating projects based on those needs of those companies. So the students are really getting a first-hand look at what it means to be a contracting sole proprietor graphic designer. Our third new fellow this year is Joe Carter. She's in nursing. She's adapted a current course. It's the senior capstone for nursing students. And there's a semester-long project that they do. They choose a community, they look at that community, identify the needs, healthcare needs, mental health needs, whatever they may be, and they look at that need and they kind of do a environmental scan to understand what's going on in the community, what services already exist in the community, and then figuring out where they can add value with their nursing technical skills. So it may be partnering with existing programs, it may be starting new programs, and then figuring out the best channels to deliver those programs, whether it's virtual or face-to-face.
Great, thank you, Sharon. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, well, I was just going to say, in our report, you'll have our updates on what everybody else is doing, but I wanted to, our existing fellows, but I wanted to just make a comment. We took the president on a walking tour of all of our fellows' ventures and all of our fellows' work, and that was really productive. And one of the things that was interesting is our Pipe Dreams Theater, which is our student-owned student theater company. One of the things that they're most proud of, this is beginning their 4th year, is that for the first time in 4 years they were sold out before they had before the performances launched, and they've now made enough money to start. They were able to pay for some talent that they needed to have, more so on the technical side and on the choreography side. So they were excited about that. They've really gotten into their financials. They've really gotten into understanding what they have to do to sell and market. So they're
wonderful.
They're doing great, and so we feel really pretty good about what we're doing with some of their work. And then finally, I just want to make a comment. We work somebody made it earlier. I don't know if it was Mesa, but one of the or someone. But one of the things we work hard at is helping our fellows understand entrepreneurship, and not just. And all the things that go into it. So we've done some speaker series, and we brought Alex Bruton in. He talked to them about his ethnography and his use of the canvas. And then our biology professor, David Horn, we've launched a whole Institute of Science Entrepreneurship, and I think one of Diane Welch's I think he is coming up to be part of a speaker series that David has launched on science and entrepreneurship. So we're kind of excited about all those new things that are happening.
Great, thank you, Sharon. North Central, Brian?
Hi, Joe. We have 3 new fellows and 3 returning fellows. The new fellows are Neil Nicholson in math and Christine Rabinold in art and Matt Crystal in anthropology. Neil, none of them are creating new courses, but they're all embedding or infusing their existing courses with entrepreneurial lessons. And each one of them is also committed to being involved in some sort of co-curricular event that will be hosted on campus. So Neil, the math professor, is, in addition to infusing his math courses, he's a competitive triathlete, and he works closely with our athletic department. So he's hosting a series of panels in the winter and spring quarters involving sports entrepreneurship. Christine Rabinold in art is assisting our campus with our Self-Employment in the Arts Conference, which takes place February 21st and 22nd. And Matt Crystal, the anthropology professor, he works closely with a Hopi tribe in New Mexico. So he has a group of SIFE students who are teaching the Hopi tribe some entrepreneurship lessons about how they can commercialize some of the crafts that they create. The returning fellows are Nancy Peterson and Jeff Bjorklund from chemistry. They're continuing their conversations about technology commercialization in their chemistry labs. And Karen Sokaitis, who's the chair of the theater department, is continuing her work from her first year as a fellow, where she puts on what she calls a theater showcase that takes place the day after graduation in June, where graduating theater students have an audience of Chicago Theater Company directors. So they basically put together their own auditions and get exposure to the theater circuit in Chicago. And the last returning fellow is Carolyn St. Clair, who leads our computer science major, and she's continuing her work in her capstone computer science class, where there's a student project that now involves a business plan component. So we're pretty excited to continue this good work.
Great, thanks, Brian. John Palmer, Quincy.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, at Quincy, we have a total of 9 active fellows, and that includes 3 new fellows. One of the new fellows is Ken Oliver, and he's in Ed Psych, and he actually has already delivered an entrepreneurial segment in a graduate level Ed Psych counseling course that dealt specifically with the development of private practice in that field. And he reported that it was very, very successful and something that he's incorporating on a permanent basis into that course. Joe Coelho from biology, he has incorporated a very strong entrepreneurial component into one of his courses that involves producing and marketing a number of different products, including maple syrup, for one, as well as calendar sales. And the calendars have a variety of different nature photos on them. I wanted to add in Joe's particular class that he's collaborated extensively with the students in CEO, his students have, in developing a comprehensive marketing strategy for the sale and distribution of these products. So he's moving along well. This is actually his second year of doing this. Finally, our third new fellow, Cynthia Halliman, she's incorporating an entrepreneurial component into her macroeconomics course that deals with social media applications in entrepreneurship. And one thing that's very noteworthy about this is many of our students from a variety of majors take that macroeconomics course, and so that's really going to put her in a position to disseminate this information to lots and lots of different students from across campus, across a lot of different academic disciplines. Also, just other fellows that are active, Megan Bacardi has developed and continues to teach a business of history course. Steve Park in music has a business of music course that's offered on a regular basis. Deidre Fagan, students are still responsible for the publication of River Run, which is a collection of poetry and fiction writings that's distributed and marketed each year in her class. John Schleppenbach and Travis Yates both have entrepreneurial practicums in their courses dealing with media conversion and video production. And finally, Carl Warma continues to incorporate a very strong entrepreneurial component into a client-based graphic design course.
Great. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
UNCG.
Hi,
Diane? Hi.
And
go ahead, please.
Hi. Also, Ezra Mamili is our associate director, and she's on the line also, so she can add in.
Okay.
So, can you hear me okay, Joe?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. We have 3 fellows this year that are new and 8 returning fellows. We had one that left the university, so we're at 8 for returning fellows. And all 3 of our fellows are developing brand new courses. One is being offered this spring and has already been accepted and gone through the curriculum committees both at the undergrad and graduate level. And that is called Researching Opportunities in Entrepreneurship and Economic Development. And it is cross-listed with entrepreneurship, geography, and library science. And it's open to both seniors as well as grad students and then others with permission. And the second course is something that's going to be offered new this fall, and it's called Entrepreneurship, and it's probably going to be cross-listed, I think, with Education Department, and it's called Innovation and Entrepreneurship for Community Leadership, and that'll be at the 400 level, and that'll be offered in the fall. And she was very impressed with the Drucker concepts and incorporated those a lot into the class with community leadership. She's working on that syllabus now. I think all three of my new fellows should have their syllabi posted, so hopefully that'll work out. And the third course is Bill Johnson's course, and he'll be offering that this spring, and that's Entrepreneurship with Health and Human Performance. And it is spirituality in entrepreneurship, looking at what you have to take internally to really believe in yourself to be an entrepreneur, and it's tied with personal development. And he just gave a seminar on Tuesday for faculty and staff on values and personal development, and a lot of entrepreneurship ended up in that. I was in the retreat, and it was really, really good. So those are our three, and
if you can make it quick because we're running into time. That's right. So we may run over a few minutes after 10 o'clock hour. Thank you. Go ahead.
I'm finished, Joe, unless there's any questions, and unless Ezra would like to add anything.
You covered very well, Diane. Thank you.
Right. I'm finished, Joe. Then thank you.
Okay, TCU. Okay, TCU will catch up with Wichita State.
Yeah, hi, Joe. This is Chris Broberg.
Hey, Joe. Joe and Michael. I'm sorry. I had it on mute.
Go ahead.
I apologize. The TCU, yeah. Is it okay?
Oh, TCU. Okay, TCU.
Go ahead.
Mike, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here. Thanks. I had it on mute. I forgot that I had it on mute.
Okay, if you can quickly update us, that'll be great.
Oh yeah. Okay. We have 26 total fellows at TCU, and there's a tremendous amount going on. So I'll just hit the highlights with our new ones. In our new fellows, we have one in engineering, Sue Gong, who is taking the Drucker training, and she's essentially going to take a lot of that and a lot of that process and adapt it for her classroom. The marshmallow thing, and then some of the processes which she doesn't believe have ever been applied to engineering before. And so she'll be doing that. And then we have Nina Martin, who is in dance, and she is collaborating with me on developing a improvisational ensemble thinking, which she has developed for the dance world. But we also believe it applies to startups, because that's what startup founders do, a lot of improvisational ensemble thinking. That's really fun. With another fellow, we've developed an arts and entrepreneurship launchpad course where we help them launch businesses, art businesses, whether it's painting, theater, dance, music, whatever. And then we have Catherine Coleman, who in strategic communications, who is exposing her class to entrepreneurs, successful entrepreneurs in PR and advertising. And then we have Margaret Rich, who has developed who runs the ad agency, the student ad agency on campus, and she's developed a course to help students launch their own businesses, PR and advertising businesses, through the course that they take and the work they do through Roxo, which is the name of that agency. So there it is in a nutshell.
Great. Thank you, Mike. I'm sorry, Wichita. Now go ahead, please. Chris and Lou.
Okay, this is Chris. We have two new fellows, Jeff Pulaski in graphic design, and both of our new fellows are adapting existing courses. Jeff is adapting his professional practices in graphical design class to have a 4 to 6 week module on entrepreneurship, and this will involve identifying the sources of innovation, the Drucker material, and then moving towards self-employment for the graphic designs. And Jibo He in psychology, human factor psychology, teaches a general psychology class and is going to talk about the options of entrepreneurship in that class. Jibo is also developing an app for the Google Glass platform that detects driving fatigue and is aimed at trucking institutions and insurance companies. And so he's going to kind of embed that experience in his students in the class and involve them in that innovative work. So also as a fellows group, we meet monthly and have been actively working on developing individual student projects for our Shocker New Venture competition in the spring. Steve Skinner and I have a class where we have 11 student technology companies that are moving towards launch that will be participating in that, and there's other fellows as well working with students participating in our competition. So thanks.
Great, thank you very much. WPI.
Frank Hoy and Gina Betty at WPI giving you a very fast report. Chris Billier, our new fellow in biomedical engineering, is offering a course called biomechanics for undergraduates this spring. It's cross-listed with mechanical engineering. It's going to be designed around Peter Drucker's 7 sources of innovation. He's lined up a bunch of entrepreneurs to come in and talk about how they've started their businesses, including one of his former students who started a business out of a project that he did here at WPI. Jennifer DeWinter, who's with our interactive media and game development program, is going to be offering a graduate course in the spring in game production. She's also, and that's of course going to be focusing on starting new businesses out of developing games, and she's in the process of putting together a proposal for an undergraduate course in getting games to market. Janice Gobert, who's in our Social Sciences and Policy Studies program and the Director of the Learning Sciences and Technologies here at WPI, is introducing a course called Innovations in Educational Technology, and she's basically designed it around her own experience in starting a business out of the research that she's done here at WPI with some of her students. They launched their business last year, and one of the things that she's done is we've rolled that into a proposal that we submitted to the Kern Foundation that involves myself and 2 other fellows from past years, Terry Camasano and Glenn Gaudette, and we just conducted a simulation for entering freshmen in a couple of courses on essentially product design development that led to the creation of a new business. And we're using Janice's learning assessment program to test the outcomes of this simulation, and so you'll be hearing more about that. And of course, all of these syllabi will be posted on the website. And finally, our Dean of the Business School, Mark Rice, has just gotten a new title this fall as Vice Provost for Innovation and Entrepreneurship, which is a statement being made that now entrepreneurship is definitely cross-campus, and so we're going to be supporting entrepreneurship education out of the Provost's office. And there's a lot more. That's all I can give you today.
Thanks, Frank. And I know that we're running into the 11 o'clock hour. We probably should have scheduled this as a 2-hour time slot. But those of you who have meetings, I understand. But if you can stick around, we would like to open up for Q&A. And I do want to go through the process of submitting a syllabus online. So I hope most of you can extend the timeline and stay with us. From Webster's perspective, Barrett couldn't be here. All 5 of the Webster Fellows are building new modules to infuse in the existing coursework. One is the graphic design course. It's called Professional Practice in Graphic Design, and I am actually working with the instructor to help do that. The other course, she's an IT prof, and she's going to infuse entrepreneurship into her mobile computing class. and the animation and the interactive multimedia course, faculty who teach those courses are building a new certificate also in entrepreneurship that they can offer to their majors. So there are several new certificate offerings that we'll be working on that we can offer to non-business majors in the coming semester and within a year. I'd like to take a moment to share with the community the process of how a syllabus is posted. And in terms of midterm reports, we are not asking the directors to actually write up any reports. We are asking that you work with your fellows, new and veteran fellows, and work with them to engage the process of posting and give them maybe insights or thoughts that you can give as directors and be able to accomplish the posting not only of syllabi but also other critical information about the website, about the program onto the website. So, for example, Lawrence University has this wonderful experience of spending time with students and building a theater company. Sharon has a theater company and a studio and gallery. We'd like to hear all of these activities that are going on across the nation, and we'd like to bring it to the community of practice so everybody can benefit from it. So as you can see on your screen, you see the common site. And the first step for anyone to post anything is you have to log in. So I'm logging in. And as you log in, you see a set of options or menu items on the right-hand side of the screen. And
Joe,
yes.
All I see is a blank screen. Does everybody else have that experience or not?
Depending on the, it may take a second or so to see the actual screen.
Okay, sorry.
Try another button, Mark.
Pardon me, Sharon?
I just said we can see you. I mean, we can see this.
Yeah, you can see the screen. Okay. So it may be, I'm sure you'll see it. It takes, sometimes the connection speeds are different. So one of the options is submit the syllabus. And you will not see this menu unless you're signed in. So please ask your fellows to sign in, or if you're submitting, sign into this. And then you see a title box. So I'm going to say, this is a course that I teach, Entrepreneurship 101. And we are asking the new fellows who are creating modules and infusing entrepreneurship in existing courses to tag it as a before syllabus. So the title of the course, Entrepreneurship 101 dash before syllabus. And then if you are interested, you can put in a short description. I'm going to say this course will teach students how to recognize new opportunities. And you can type in a couple of sentences or phrases. And we always find that if you attach PDF, it works better than Word documents. So I have a PDF version of this on my desktop. So I'm going to click on Add Attachment, and then Browse File, and Management 3700 on my desktop. And so now that I have selected the file, I'm going to click on Upload. And once I click on the upload, it will return to the screen. Here there are two options. In the section option, you click on the dial button and click or select Entrepreneurship Syllabus Exchange. And when you click on that, you have all these options to choose from. In my case, this will be a business syllabus, so I'm going to click on that. The other two dials, you can leave it as they are. And if you have an alias, meaning, so let's say you are submitting a syllabus on behalf of someone else, you can put in an alias. So I'm going to say for, let's say in this case, Barrett. And the other two, you can, the other three options, leave them as they are. And then you go to the metadata box. This is where you put in your syllabus title. So I'm going to type in Entrepreneurship 101 and before syllabus. And when you're done with this, there's a description box. You may or may not use that. It's up to you. If you want to use that, that's fine. Now, when you're done, you have to click Save. That's on the top. And it is actually going through the cycle of saving. And once it is saved, you will see the uploader attachments and the name and the size of the file, article successfully saved. And after you see this message, you're done. So that is the process of how you submit a syllabus. Oh, let me show you one more thing. If we go back to the site, there is an option called Website Help. Click that. And in the help screen, you see all of these various steps that are detailed as help. So if fellows or anyone runs into any issue, then they can refer back to this, and they'll be able to see the instructions that they need. So that's something that I wanted to make sure that everybody knew on how to do. So if there are people who can stick around and have a conversation, that'll be great. If there are any questions, please feel free to bring it up. And I'm not sure, Mark had a question out of it, but I think he had to step out. So those of you who are on the call, are there any questions or comments that you'd like to share? Okay. If there are no questions or comments, thank you for your time today, and sorry the meeting ran over by 12 minutes. This meeting is being recorded. I will post the link to the site, so there are options for everyone in the community to catch up. So thanks again, and have a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and a Happy New Year. The next coffee hour is January 17th at 10 a.m. for directors and reversers, and I'll be sending out an agenda and emails. So thanks again, and happy holidays.
Thank you, Joe. Thanks, Joe. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Joe. Holidays.
Bye, Joe.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Joe.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas, Diane.
And Merry Christmas to you too.